welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to show you how I make a Queen Beryl doll from Sailor Moon using our Julia Jelps from Monster High. And also using these hands from Rochelle because I think the shape is most suitable for the character. I've already removed her hair and now I want to clean her face using pure acetone. With dry clay, I made these accessories for the hair and the earrings. And with flexible clay, I made this piece to use it for the horns she has on her shoulders. And this big chunk I'm going to cut into small pieces to use it for the necklace and her belt. Now it's time to sand. To make the horns, I cut the tip of this piece and I place a small ball of flexible clay on the base. Then I place it on the shoulders of the doll and let it dry. Now it's time to paint the accessories. I'm painting the headpiece black and the rest in light gray. I took a piece of jewelry wire and I pass it through all the tiny pieces to make the necklace. For the belt, I'm doing the same, but using thread instead of wire. Now I place this on a piece of foam to paint all the tiny pieces in light pink. Once dry, I put a layer of varnish. I want to make manga version of Queen Beryl, and I'm using this illustration of Naoko Takeuchi as a reference. I'm doing her stuff now, and I'm using a piece of wire and covering it all with dry clay. Once dry, I sand it all to make it smooth and do the rest of the details. This strange thing you can see in the top left corner is some horrible shoes I tried to make, but I decided to scrap them. Then I painted using the colors you see in the illustration, white for the most part of the stuff and a little bit of red for the details. To be honest, I wasn't very sure about the colors, and in the end I painted silver, but I did it off camera. I made the top part with a drop of hot glue that I painted orange. I used a black Monster High bracelet and I put a little horn made with flexible clay. To make this little thing the earrings have, I use Dürer wire and I loop it around them. Then I put a drop of Tacky Glue so it doesn't scratch the doll. For the necklace and the belt, I prefer to paint this instead of using wire, so I avoid scratching. Now I put the headpiece together. And paint white the rest of small details. For the shoes, I simply painted some Rochelle's heels with dark red. Now let's start with the dress. I made a corset with paper mache and then I draw the neckline. I cut everything and check it on the doll. I use this purple fabric and I trace her shape. The truth is that it was worthless, but I decided to glue with a glue stick the corset I made on the fabric. And then I glued all this fabric around it because this dress has got a very strange neckline. Be sure to check if everything you're doing looks pretty in the front part. Now the black half moon part. I'm putting a layer of Mod Podge on the fabric to make it stiff. Once dry, I made the half moon part and cut it. I had to do this twice. I glued them together and then to the dress. To sew it, I put it inside out on the mannequin doll and then I sew all the back part. Be sure to leave a gap so you can take off the dress and put it back again. Sew the bottom part so you have a clean edge. I sew a snap in the gap I left before and can say that the dress is done. Now for the hair. I'm going to reroute the doll using yarn. I think this color matches the concept very good. To cut the yarn in the correct size, I loop it around this piece of plastic, then I cut it. Then I unravel all the pieces and started with the reroute itself. To reroute it, I use my homemade reroute tool. It's just the handle of an X-Acto knife with a needle I cut in an angle. I have to take each strand of yarn, pass it through the needle and stab it on the hair. You have to do this millions of times. When I was in the middle of the reroute, I realized that I forgot to paint the scalp. Once the paint was dry, I could continue. This is a very tedious work and it seems endless, but you can finish, I promise. In the end, you are going to have left only a small section in the middle. This is the part. I'm making the part in a very strange way, but it worked for me. I reroute it in the hairline, but in this case I separate the two strands I have each time I stab the yarn on the head. Once the reroute is done, you have to be sure that it is safe, and for this I use Tacky Glue. Be sure that all the inside of the head is coated with the glue. You have to let it dry for at least 24 To make the hair look like actual hair, you have to comb it. I'm doing it using a pet brush. And it's very important to work in small sections. I was very careful to clip the hair so I don't lose where the middle is. Once you're finished, you're going to have this big fluffy head. And now it's time to make it all straight and smooth. Take small sections of hair and use your flat iron in a low setting. It looks like magic, doesn't it? Now repeat this as many times you need, so you have all your head done. Now with a piece of scrap fabric, we're going to cover all her hair. And with a nail buffer, we're going to buff all her body. What we want to do is to remove all the glossy texture so the sealant will fix on it. I use Mr. Super Clear sealant. We have to seal the body and the head with 3 layers of the sealant so we have a surface we can work on. We're going to change her skin color. For this, I'm going to use PanPastels. We have to put about 3 or 4 layers of pastels and Mr. Super Clear and wait about 30 minutes between layers. We are also going to shade both. Once we have the color we want, we're going to reattach the head and the body. I always do this before the actual repaint. Now we can start the repaint. That's my favorite part. You have to use watercolor pencils. I start by tracing the basic eye shape. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to make it symmetrical, but don't worry, just try and erase and try again until you have what you would like. For the mouth, I always start painting between the lips. I always use a color that is slightly darker than the color I want for the actual lips. The eyebrows are always a struggle. Try to draw the basic shape with a light color. I'm using a light brown here. And then I color the lips the color I want. It's obvious I'm not very organized. Now I'm going to paint the irises. Again, the problem here is making them symmetrical. Then the sclera. And a bit of eyeshadow. I always make the eyeshadows with pastels, but in this case I'm using the watercolor pencils. A little of pink pastel for blushing. And the first layer is done. Seal it with Mr. Super Clear, let it dry, and let's start with the second layer. In the first layer, I forgot to paint the lacrimal pink. The second layer is usually doing the same process to make the colors pop. I decided to make her face based in the anime Queen Beryl, and that's why I'm painting her eyes yellow, and also the sclera, which is a very light cream yellow. The eyebrows are also painted with a dark red to match the hair color. I'm painting some white lines on the lips to make it a little bit more realistic. More touches here and there. And I also draw the eyeliner. And seal everything again with a layer of Mr. Super Clear and let it dry. The third layer is the most important one, because in this case you're doing all the details like the pupils and some highlights. It's very important to do this in a separate layer, so if you make a mistake, you can rub out without a problem. Then draw the eyelashes. Again, symmetry is very important. I drew a very thin line with brown so the pupils can stand out even more. With grey, I gave a little bit of volume to the eyes. And with white, I made all the highlights. And the last layer is done. But the face still needs the lights on the eyes. I'm painting them with acrylic paints. Seal it one last time. And now that's all dry, let's reveal her hair again. We have to style it a little bit and cutting her fringe. And taming it with a little bit of water. It's simply water. Let's paint her nails and finish putting all her accessories and clothes. And this is the end result. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye!